fans of dice and transporting them and storing them in interesting and cool looking ways. Thank you very much for joining me for a product review, a product sample review. And we're looking at something a little bit different today. This is nothing to do with miniatures. So, a few days ago, a parcel turned up delivered by the UPS, and this parcel has come all the way from Atlanta, out in Georgia in the US of A, and it's been sent to me by Michael Althauser at Grayed Out, or Grayed Out on Etsy. So Michael approached me and said, would you like to do a little review? And what Michael makes is dice bags. As far as I can see, he makes hand-sewn dice bags for storing your collection of randomisers in. And as an avid and keen wargamer of many years, I was very interested to take a look at this. What I've got in this particular bag is one of said, well, bags from Mr. Althauser at Grayed Out. What we're going to do in this review is we're going to open up the packet, we're going to take a look at the dice bag, or perhaps even pouch, we may say. Just see what it's like, take a look around it, we'll appraise the quality, and we'll also do a little bit of road testing with some of my own dice. As I mentioned, this dice bag has been donated to my channel free of charge for review purposes. We're going to look at it. If it's good, I'll say it's good, and if there are any flaws or faults with it, well, I will point those out as well. But please do bear that in mind when assessing the opinions I offer in this video. Enough preamble, without further ado, let's get into this packet. Now, dice storage is one of those kind of things that people seem to invest a lot in it, or not much at all, and it's always interesting to get a look at what's on offer. I mean, I store my dice at the moment in this little thingy, which I can't remember where I bought it, and then I've also got this, which is an old goo ice cream carton, which I filled with a load more dice. They're okay, I suppose, but they're certainly not purpose made. Ooh, we have stuff inside the bag. Now, I already know that this is a very special dice bag to me because of my primary force for my Horus Heresy game, which is the Iron Hands, and we'll come to that in a moment. And there we go, Grayed Out, high quality dice bag. So I've got to give him credit for a neat little plug there. So anyway, we shall remove the plug sleeve. Now, this is one of several designs that Grayed Out offer, which is the We Are Legion design, followed by the Roman numeral for the Legion in question. So here we have Legio X, so Legio 10, the Iron Hands, the Iron 10th, and it's being finished in black, so it's a black fabric, and the lettering is, I think it's white, yeah, it's a white printed lettering. Oh, very nice. We Are Legion X, I do like that. So, let's take a look around this. These are handmade. They are not machine made. Michael makes them all as far as I am aware, and he also created the design himself. I had a bit of a discussion with him via email before he sent me this for review. I'm always interested to know how all the independent companies get started and what their background is, and Michael is in costume design, and that's what he studied, so costume design for theatre. Obviously that comes with a lot of fabric craft to make, well, props and costumes. So perhaps, you know, everything from bouffants for Tudor dress in Shakespeare productions, all the way up to perhaps, you know, sewing the ears on a donkey. I'm being very flippant there. I'm sure there's a lot more skill to it than that. That's how I would do it, and I'll probably use a stapler. But it's interesting to know that that was his background and kind of what led him to think about creating these dice bags. And I guess it also interests me because he's got some, let's say, professional training in sewing and the like to make these. So, right, what's it do? It's kind of like it's an approximately square design. Yeah, approximately square design. Let's turn it inside out and see what's inside. It feels as if, is it a double or a triple lined fabric? I think it's double lined. Yeah, so there's an inner and an outer, and then around the top we've got a draw cord that's been sewn into it as well. Just push it out the right way. I guess the idea is you can put your dice in, and if I can get this right, you can seal it up like so. Ooh. Oh wow, yeah, there you go. So I'm guessing that's going to hold the dice in. I mean, being an Iron Hands player and getting this in black means it looks like a little bit of a black hole there, but you know, let's try turning it out again. He does do these in a variety of other designs. I mean, there are a whole set of We Are Legion dice bags. So there's Legio 8, there's a Legio 17. I'm just looking at his website here. Legio 14, Legio 19, and a Legio 12. So the World Eaters. So there's quite a bit of variety there. I wonder if he may do more legions. This looks very nicely made. Now, I don't know much about sewing and fabric work, but this looks like it's been well done. And yeah, it feels nice. Fabric, I'm guessing this is cotton, but I have nothing to back that up. It feels like a bit like cotton. Yeah, it's quite thick. It's heavier than the material of, say, a shirt or a blouse. It certainly feels like it should be fairly robust. Right, I just want to try this again with pulling the draw cords tight. That's actually quite, yeah, once those draw cords are pulled tight, the friction on, I don't know what you call this section of the dice bag, but the cord lines, let's just call it, is considerable, and I don't think that would open because I have to give that a fair old pull to overcome the friction and open the dice bag. Okay, right, so let's do a little bit of a test now, and we're going to take my dice and we're going to dump them in there. So I'm going to try and not dump, never mind, I'm going to have to sort these all out anyway. So I'm going to dump my kill counters in there as well. There we go, all those, and then we'll take all of these dice here as well and put those in. So they're all quite happily in there. A big pouch of dice. I mean, I've put pretty much my whole dice collection I use regularly there, and that's only around a quarter full, if that. I mean, apparently this dice bag is supposed to hold a pound, as in a imperial pound, so 454 grams for those metric users amongst us. I can see that applying, yeah. And then we can do that up, and then that's rather nice, that is. Right, now I need to do a little bit of testing, don't we? So I'm going to do some proper live testing, and everyone's going to be getting headaches now with the camera jumping up and down, just to see if the drawstrings hold shut. So this is a very scientific leaky cheese analytical modelling of this bag being in a, let's say, a rucksack, going off on a gaming weekend or perhaps over to a friend's house for a gaming evening. Yeah, that seems to be doing the job quite well. Oh, wait, we have one of my Litco skulls has managed to infiltrate its way out, so it's clearly been traumatized by being jiggled around in there. That's quite small, and that's thinner than even the micro dice, the micro D6s that I have in there. So that seems to do the job of containing the dice. And if you're wondering what I mean by a micro D6, it's one of these, and a quick thinness or thickness comparison test shows that's about double the wound counter. So actually throwing those wound counters in has served a useful purpose with our review, or our product test, shall we say. I do like that. I suppose there's two ways you can do things. You can, you know, reach in, let's say, I need my Iron Hands D6, or there you go, a scatter dice. Yeah, need a scatter dice. I guess this probably works well if you've got lots of a particular type of dice, or quite a few of each one, so it's easy to see a particular one from the fact that they're all mixed up together. And here's another one. What's this? Oh, that's my 2016 Salute dice that came with my goodie bag. So I'm a grown guy. I don't have the biggest hands. You know, I'm 6'1" tall, but I don't have the biggest hands. But there's loads of space in the dice bag for my hand to go in there. So if you do have hands the size of shovels, you probably can get them quite comfortably in the bag to grab a handful of dice. And I guess the other option is to just ditch them all out. And there you go, there you can see all the dice and counters that I just managed to fit inside this We Are Legion dice bag. What do I think? I like this. It's nice. The one thing I really like about it, and the one thing I will appreciate, I think, is as opposed to carting my dice around in this and in this, these are rigid containers and they take up a certain amount of volume. You can't change the volume of them. They're quite big as well. I mean, they're bigger than they need to be. Whereas this, the dice bag, once you do that, it's a smaller volume. And certainly if you kind of scrunch it, there you go. It's certainly a smaller volume, and it will squidge into corners of bags and, you know, terrain boxes and the like. Make it easier perhaps to transport your dice around. Other nice thing about it is, compared to the plastic boxes, it certainly has a luxury feel. By virtue of the fact it's made out of fabric, it is much more tactile as well. That feels nice as well. I do like that. And then the final other thing, in terms of features I didn't point out, it has a slide toggle here, and that'll go down there like that. Not that you're going to use this a lot, but you know, if you did wear this out and it broke, I've done a lot of hiking and outdoor stuff in my time, and these are a common sort of feature on a rucksack of various types, and also things like coat toggles. Sometimes these cords will cut through the plastic over time, but with this as being handmade, these have been heat sealed off the end, so nice workmanship there. You could easily undo this knot, take off a broken toggle, put a new one on, retie the knot, and you're good to go again. So that's often an advantage with handmade products. They are easier to repair. And that is just going to, in my eyes, further add to the longevity of this. And it's important to consider longevity and quality, because the price for this, I think it's a new design, so they've not got one on the website yet, but the equivalent, so if I look at the We Are Legion 13, so the ultramarine dice bag, it's priced at £14.72, and I guess on top of that you would have a bit of postage as well. So considering that, then the fact that you can repair this feature, the slider, is a useful thing to consider, because you are paying more for your dice box, certainly than if you buy something like this. But I do like it, and clearly, you know, the We Are Legion, Legio X, really appeals to me. I've never shared it on the channel, but I've got something similar to this Warlord Games did for Beyond the Gates of Antares, and those are for order dice bags. I think that cost more than this did, so I think price-wise, for a well-made fabric bag, it doesn't seem bad at all, and it's, you know, it's handmade as well. So, interesting, eh? Let's stick all these dice back in here. If you just have lots of dice of a particular type, so a lot of people have huge numbers of these D6s for war games, particularly 40k, or indeed, you know, this, in my mind, a slightly nicer design of dice such as that. And then you've also got the newer Games Workshop dice as well, like this that came in Dark Imperium. If you've got lots of one type of dice, and putting them all in a shared bag together doesn't really matter, because you can just, you know, easily reach in and see what you need and get them out. I guess if you're playing a game where you've got a lot of very specific dice that are going to go all in the bag together and you need one of those at a time, then maybe it's not such an optimal way of transporting your dice around. And I suppose the other thing to consider as well is, because all your dice are rubbing together, this is clearly suited to acrylic and plastic dice the best. I wouldn't necessarily store luxury dice in it, so you can get dice made from semi-precious gemstones at the moment. They're quite expensive. I mean, in the UK you're looking at about, I don't know, 65 quid for a basic set. You have about half a dozen dice in it, and they can be made from things like tiger's eye, quartz, marble. They aren't going to do so well clacking together. Some of the minerals they're made from are quite brittle and they could break. So I think what I would probably do is I'd have all my D6s like that, you know, main body of dice, and I can then put all my speciality dice and wound markers into this tray. And that's actually quite useful, that, because I've been carting around a few of the sets of wound markers that I've not put away in here, and they've just been floating around in bags. So now I've got this, I think that's going to be my dice transporter, and in here I'm going to put all my little speciality dice, so these tiny little D6 which are used for wound markers, these wound markers, and then I've also got some suppression and activation markers as well that I'll also put into this. And that means I can then get rid of the old clunky storage box as well. Anyway, I'm not going to put all those away now because I'm trying to do a review of this bag and not show you filling a dice bag. That might be a bit boring. There you have it, a review of the We Are Legion, and in my case a Legio X dice bag from Grayed Out by Michael Althauser over in Atlanta. I really like this. As I say, I think it's really nicely made and it has a real quality feel to it. Yeah, I like it. Yeah, it just feels nice. You could also, you know, just throw a pouch of dice to your mates. That'd be good fun as well. I've already decided, having just got this out of the packet, that this will be accompanying me now on all of my wargaming adventures. So yeah, I do really like that. Just to wrap up, I would like to thank Michael at Grayed Out very much again for sending me this for review. I really do appreciate that, Michael. I will leave a link to his Etsy site in the description of the video, so if you are interested, do go check those out. And as always, I would like to hear your thoughts and observations in the comment section. What do you think about a dice bag, or this particular dice bag, and yeah, the general idea of having a dice pouch to transport your randomisers around with you? I'll be very interested to hear, as always. But other than that, I'd just like to say thank you very much for watching. I'll speak to you next time, and goodbye.